Greetings, brothers and sisters of eternity. Today, I want to continue the video game series and I want to talk about why I stopped playing games and why I'm selling my PS4 and my TV. So, I'd say there's three key factors to consider around this, and that one is my mindset when it comes to playing games and how that changed. The second one is the kind of lack of innovation in the video game industry. Um, Maybe you could say the mindset of the industry, in general. And then finally, it has to do with my spiritual awakening process and kind of seeing that there's another way to do things. So, when I first got into games, I was young as a kid. It was just colorful. It was just nice. It was fun. It was very attractive. I enjoyed playing them. My heart was open while I was playing games, or even watching cartoons or whatever. Those just that kind of media is very entertaining and fun, and captures the imagination. And over time, as I got older, I got this mindset, and I think this is a very strong mindset that a lot of people get, just in general, like as analysis from being a child to growing to an adult. And it's this idea of right and wrong, and getting things right and getting things wrong, and the fear of failure, and building up this ego and this pride that wants to always succeed, that wants to always win, always. And if I don't win, I'm not good enough anymore. I'm a piece of shit and I need to go and step up my game. So over time, that mentality kind of just kind of seeped into, the background of me playing games, and it just ruined it for me, really. If I wasn't the top of the leaderboard, if I'm not, the most kills, the longest streak, the highest score, you know, whatever it is, the most respect from the other members, whatever, um, it just sucks the life out of it. I think I don't think I need to to really say any more about it. It's just like as soon as you get focused on one, outcome dependency, it just kind of ruins it. So that's one reason why I kind of stopped, is just the high standards that I set for myself. Always pushing to be the best, which is good in some cases, but in the case of sitting down to relax, there's never a moment to chill for me when I'm doing that. Anyway, the next thing was the industry. So in the same way that there was 8-track tapes and CD players, and now most things are digital, there's like these recurring cycles of where a new thing kind of is innovated, right, in society. Like Facebook used to not exist and now it's a thing. And so likewise, in video games, there were innovations over time that were really cool, really awesome. Like the MOBA didn't exist until some people made it in a custom game for Warcraft. And that custom game got so much popularity that they were able to build it into their own industry. And then now it's one of the most popular games in the world. In fact, more people watch the MOBAs than people watch the Super Bowl. I bet you didn't know that. But so yeah, it was really cool to see that stuff, and over time, like for like war games like Halo, I remember back in the day you could only jog, and there came a game called Killzone where you could sprint, and that was a cool little addition, and eventually it was like most games now you can sprint. A really cool game that I played was Gears of War, and you could take cover. That was a new, like, innovative thing that you could do in a shooter, where you could, get your shoulder up on the wall and then peek around, and they had, mechanics for that, and it made it more immersive and just more fun and awesome. And so there are all these cool things that happen in games, and what I found was over time there were games that didn't have all of these innovations integrated. So it'd be like this game has all these cool things, but yet there's still this issue from like 10 years ago where there's other games that don't have that issue. And it's like, what's going on, guys? You know, is it intellectual property rights or just a lack of creativity or laziness? You know, just trying to make the base minimum product that they can sell for a profit. You know, that's another big thing is the mentality in the industry is games used to be kind of a thing from the heart and soul, and over time as it became popular and it started to get money in there, then you get corporations and investors and people who never played games and don't have that artistic creative expression invested in it, and all they care about is the bottom line. And so they're not willing to invest in the creative endeavors and the ideas of the employees, you know, the lower rungs. And you just get these empty games, you know, that are very, you know, highly marketed and just don't really have much value in them, you know, anymore. They're kind of sucked dry of the nutrients, if you will, kind of the same way that, you know, mass farming has affected the food industry in the U.S. But that's another discussion. So yeah, there was that, and then finally, it was coming to realize, you know, during my awakening process, you know, my history with playing games also helped me imagine things and be able to encapsulate entire scenarios without actually having to go through the process physically. I can imagine what it's like to become a warrior and travel throughout the cosmos and visit other planets. You know, I can imagine what it's like to become a dictator and try to control the world, or, you know, whatever. Like, I can imagine any scenario, you know, that I want. Because of my exposure to games, and not just games, but, you know, movies that I've watched, TV shows, you know, people where they talk about like infinite time loops and just like all this cool stuff that I had to consider, you know, to think of, you know, if I'm, you know, in this process. And part of my awakening process was realizing that, you know, anything is possible that I can imagine. Anything that I want to create, I can make that happen. I can make my dreams real. I can realize my dreams. So it's like, okay, if I can do that in real life, then why am I still here playing games? And another thing was when I found that kind of issue with the industry, right? And how games were disappointing me. It was like games were disappointing in that way, but I realized that if I wanted them to be the way I wanted them to be, I would have to make the games myself. And so as I started to think about, you know, what kind of game I would make, what are the qualities of a game, what are the different aspects and balance, it really tied into how you would create a universe. You know, I started to look around at life itself, and, you know, there's games where you can cook. There's games where you can go and work out and bench press. There's games where you drive and stuff like Grand Theft Auto, and it's just like, wow, there's all these aspects of real life that are in games. And when I really, you know, got deep into what my favorite game would be like, I realized that I'm already in that game. So I don't need to make that game. It already exists. So that's part of kind of the awakening process, was like kind of tying in the infinite possibilities with reality and just realizing that, you know, cell phones didn't exist 100 years ago, and people, you know, would think that this crazy idea that you can communicate with someone across the world, you know, instantly. But now it's just a normal thing. It's just accepted, and it takes those pioneers. So that's my mission. That's my vision, is to, you know, realize these things. You know, we can fly, we can shoot Kamehamehas or whatever it is, but it's important to realize the importance of self-love and this emotional processing, which is what I'm currently going through. And once I've got a good handle on it, I'll be happy to share more and teach others. But it's important to recognize that when each individual has the power of, you know, a nuclear reactor, that it's important to love yourself, because when each person has that kind of power, things could get out of hand. The world could be pretty chaotic. So it's a good idea to learn to walk or crawl before we learn to walk, so to speak. So that's going to be my focus first and foremost. But throughout my life, I'm definitely going to be pursuing things that you think are currently impossible. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Tomorrow I'm going to be talking about why I'm going to Elliott Hulse's grounding camp and why grounding is important.